Part 1. The observation ship hung in the darkness between Earth's moon and the planet itself. It was a good spot. The humans could not see them there, and the analysts could watch everything without worry. They had been watching for 3 standard cycles now, which was about 2 Earth years. In that time, they had filled thousands of reports about the strange blue world and its even stranger inhabitants. Senior analyst Aura sat at her monitoring station, her 4 eyes fixed on the holographic display in front of her. She was a species known for their patience and attention to detail. Her gray-green skin reflected the soft light from her screens, and her mandibles clicked quietly as she thought. She had been studying humans for so long now that she sometimes dreamed about them. They were endlessly confusing creatures. Today, she was watching a single human dwelling in a region the humans called Minnesota. It was early morning there. The local star had just begun to rise, painting the sky in colors that Aura had learned to appreciate. She watched as a female human moved through her small home. The woman was alone. She had a companion animal, a 4-legged creature the humans called a dog, but no other humans lived with her. The woman did the same thing she did every morning. She walked to her kitchen and began heating water. She took a ceramic vessel from a shelf and placed dried plant matter inside it. When the water was hot, she poured it over the plant matter and waited. Then she carried the vessel to a soft seat near a window and sat down. She held the vessel in both hands. She looked out the window. She breathed slowly. The dog sat at her feet. She did nothing else for 23 minutes. Aura had timed it many times. The woman did this every single morning. Sometimes the time varied by a few minutes, but the ritual never changed. Heat the water, make the drink. Sit by the window, hold the cup. Look outside, do nothing. It made no sense. Aura pulled up the nutritional analysis of the liquid. It contained a mild stimulant that helped humans feel more awake, but the amount was small. The woman could have consumed a more efficient stimulant in a fraction of the time. She could have eaten a quick meal that provided better nutrition. Instead, she sat there, holding a warm cup, watching the light change. The analyst had seen humans do many strange things. She had watched them dance alone in their dwellings when no one could see them. She had watched them spend hours arranging objects on shelves for no practical reason. She had watched them talk to their companion animals as if the animals could understand complex language. But this morning, ritual bothered her more than anything else. She pulled up her comparison data, 40 rotations of observation. Every single morning, the same ritual, and then she expanded her search to include other humans in the database. Her mandibles stopped clicking, her 4 eyes went wide. Billions of them, billions of humans across the planet doing the same thing. Some of them heated water and added plant matter. Others used a machine to heat water and force it through crushed beans. Some of them sat alone. Others sat with their family units. But they all did the same essential thing. They woke up, and before doing anything productive, they engaged in a small ritual of pleasure. They had words for it: coffee time, tea time, morning routine, me time. Aura felt something shift in her understanding. She had been thinking about this wrong. She had been looking for the practical purpose, the survival advantage, the evolutionary reason. But what if there was no practical purpose? What if the purpose was the pleasure itself? She was still staring at her data when her colleague drifted over. Was a crystalline, a species made of living mineral formations. They moved by shifting their internal structures in complex ways, and they communicated through vibrations. Had been studying human art and music, trying to understand why humans spent so much time creating things that had no practical use. "You look troubled," said their voice, a pleasant hum. "What have you found?" "I am not troubled," Aura said. "I am confused. Look at this." She showed her data. The crystalline studied it for a long moment, their mineral formations shifting colors as they processed the information. "They do this every day?" asked. "Every day. Billions of them. And this is only the morning ritual. I have found similar patterns throughout their daily cycles. They stop working in the middle of the day to consume small amounts of food together, even when they are not hungry. They gather in the evening to watch fictional narratives on screens, even though they know the stories are not real. They mark certain days as special and refuse to work on those days, even when their survival would be better served by continued labor. Was quiet for a long time, then they said, "Show me more." Aura did. She showed humans stopping their work to stand outside and look at the sky when their local star was setting. She showed them humans gathering around tables covered with food, talking and laughing for hours when they could have consumed the nutrients in minutes. She showed them humans sitting in circles, playing games with small pieces of paper and plastic, games that served no purpose except entertainment. "This is unprecedented," said at last. "In all my studies of sentient species, I have never seen anything like this. Most species experience pleasure as a reward for successful survival behaviors. Eat food, feel pleasure. Mate successfully, feel pleasure. Defeat an enemy, feel pleasure. The pleasure encourages the behavior. But these humans are not responding to survival pressures. They are creating pleasure deliberately for its own sake." "Yes," Aura said. "That is exactly what I have been thinking. They are not experiencing joy as a byproduct. They are manufacturing it." "We need to tell the director," said. They did. Director L was a being of great age and experience. He had overseen the study of 17 different species during his career, and he had thought he understood the range of sentient behavior. When Aura presented her findings, his bioluminescent patches flickered in a pattern she had never seen before. "Show me everything," he said. She did. For hours, she walked him through her data. She showed him the morning rituals and the evening gatherings. She showed him the weekly celebrations and the annual festivals. She showed him humans decorating their dwellings with objects that served no practical purpose, just because the objects were pleasing to look at. She showed him humans learning to play musical instruments, spending thousands of hours on a skill they would never use for survival. She showed him humans traveling vast distances just to look at natural formations they found beautiful. When she was finished, Director L sat in silence for a long time. "This changes everything," he said at last. "We have been studying humans as if they were like other species. We have been looking for their survival strategies, their dominance behaviors, their resource acquisition methods. We have been asking the wrong questions." "What questions should we ask?" Aura asked. "We should ask how they survive at all," the director said. "Their planet is hostile, they are short. Their bodies are fragile. They fight wars against each other. They suffer disasters and plagues and famines. By all logic, they should have destroyed themselves long ago, but they have not. They have thrived. And I think you may have found the reason why." He stood up, his bioluminescent patches now glowing with a steady, determined light. "I am forming a new division," he said. "The Celebration Analysis Division. Its purpose will be to study this phenomenon in detail. Aura, you will be the lead analyst. You will assist. I want a full catalog of human joy integration within one cycle." "Joy integration," Aura repeated. "Is that what we are calling it?" "That is what it is," the director said. "They have integrated joy into the basic structure of their lives. They have made it as essential as food or sleep or shelter. And I believe this is the most important discovery the Galactic Survey has ever made." Aura looked back at her display. The human woman in Minnesota had finished her morning ritual. She was now moving through her day, working and talking and living. But Aura knew that tomorrow morning she would do the same thing again. She would heat her water and make her drink and sit by her window and do nothing for 23 minutes. And somehow, that nothing was everything. The analyst got to work. Part 2. The Celebration Analysis Division worked without rest for one full cycle. Aura led a team of 12 analysts, each one studying a different aspect of human joy integration. They gathered data from every region of the planet. They studied humans of different ages and social positions. They watched the rich and the poor, the young and the old, the healthy and the sick. And in every case, they found the same thing. Humans planned joy into their lives, the way other species planned resource gathering or defense strategies. When the cycle was complete, Director L called a meeting of all division heads. The conference chamber filled with beings from dozens of different species. Some floated, some crawled, some existed as patterns of energy contained in magnetic fields. They were the best minds in the Galactic Survey, and they had all come to hear what the Celebration Analysis Division had found. Aura stood before them, her mandibles clicking nervously. She had never addressed so many senior officials before, but she believed in her findings, and she knew they were important. "Thank you all for coming," she began. "What I am about to present will challenge many of our assumptions about sentient behavior. I ask that you keep an open mind." She activated the holographic display, and the first images appeared. "Let us begin with the morning," she said. "Across the human planet, beings wake up and immediately engage in small pleasure rituals. Some consume hot liquids slowly, savoring the warmth and flavor. Others listen to music as they prepare for their day. Some talk with their family units about nothing important, just enjoying the connection. These activities have no survival function. They do not provide nutrition. They do not prepare the body for labor. They do not protect against threats. And yet humans consider them essential." She showed images of humans in their kitchens, holding their cups, smiling at their companions. The alien analysts watched in silence. "Now let us look at meals," Aura continued. "Most species consume nutrients as efficiently as possible. We eat when we are hungry. We stop when we are full. The process is simple and quick, but humans do something very different." The display showed a large human family gathered around a table. The table was covered with food, far more than they needed. There were small flames burning on wax cylinders. There were decorative objects arranged for no practical reason. The humans were talking and laughing and passing food to each other. "This is what humans call a family dinner," Aura said. "It takes approximately 3 times longer than efficient nutrient consumption would require. The extra time is spent on conversation, storytelling, and what humans call bonding. The food is prepared in complex ways that do not increase its nutritional value. The table is decorated with objects that have no purpose except beauty. And at the end, the humans report feeling something they call happy." One of the senior analysts, a being made of interconnected fungal networks, raised a portion of itself. "Are you saying they waste resources on inefficiency because it brings them pleasure?" "No," Aura said. "I am saying they do not consider it waste. To them, the pleasure is the point. The food is just the excuse." She moved on to work behaviors. The display showed humans in what they called offices, sitting at desks and working on machines. But every few hours, they stopped working. "Humans call these coffee breaks," Aura explained. "They stop their productive labor and gather in small groups. They consume small amounts of food and drink. They talk about things that have nothing to do with their work. Sometimes they complain about their tasks. Sometimes they share stories about their lives outside of work. The conversations serve no productive purpose, and yet humans consider these breaks essential to their work performance." "That makes no logical sense," a crystalline being said. "If they stopped taking breaks, they would have more time for productive labor." "That is what we thought," Aura agreed. "But our data shows something unexpected. Humans who take regular breaks actually produce more than humans who do not. The breaks seem to refresh their minds and restore their motivation. The small pleasures make the work more bearable." She showed more data. Humans who worked without breaks became tired and unhappy. Their work quality declined. Eventually, they stopped working entirely, suffering from something humans called burnout. But humans who regularly interrupted their work with small pleasures could sustain their labor for much longer. "They have discovered something important," Aura said. "Joy is not a distraction from survival. It is a component of survival. Without regular doses of pleasure, human minds begin to fail." The display shifted to evening behaviors. Humans returning to their dwellings after work. sitting on soft furniture, watching screens that showed fictional stories, submerging in heated water with chemical additives that smelled pleasant, talking with companions about the day's events. None of this is necessary, Aura said. A human could return home, consume nutrients, and go to sleep. That would be efficient. But instead, they spend hours on what they call relaxation. They watch stories they know are not real. They talk about events they have already experienced. They sit in warm water even though they are already clean. She paused, letting the images speak for themselves. And yet these behaviors are universal. Every human culture has developed some version of them. Every human society recognizes the need for rest and pleasure after labor. They have words for it in every language: relaxation, unwinding, decompressing. These words all describe the same thing: the deliberate pursuit of pleasure as a counterbalance to the demands of survival. Director L stepped forward. His bioluminescent patches were glowing with a steady light that meant deep thought. "Tell them about the weekly cycles," he said. Aura nodded. Human society is organized around a 7-day cycle they call a week. For most humans, 5 of these days are devoted to productive labor, but 2 days are set aside for something they call the weekend. On these days, humans are expected to stop working and instead pursue pleasure. Expected, one of the analysts asked. By whom? By everyone, Aura said. It is built into their social structure. Humans who work on the weekend are considered strange or unfortunate. Businesses close, schools close. The entire society pauses together. She showed images of weekend activities: humans gathering in parks, humans playing games, humans traveling to see friends and family, humans simply sitting and doing nothing at all. They have institutionalized rest, Aura said. They have made pleasure a mandatory part of their social calendar, and the weekends are just the beginning. The display shifted to show something called holidays. Aura explained that humans marked certain days throughout the year as special. On these days, entire societies stopped working. They gathered with family units. They consumed special foods. They exchanged gifts. They celebrated. "What are they celebrating?" asked an energy being. "Everything," Aura said. "The passage of seasons, the memory of historical events, the births of individuals, the completion of another year of life. They have found reasons to celebrate in every part of their existence." She showed them birthday parties, where humans gathered to celebrate that a single individual had survived another year. She showed them anniversary celebrations, where humans marked the passage of time in relationships. She showed them seasonal festivals, where entire societies came together to acknowledge the turning of their planet around their star. They celebrate time itself, Aura said. They mark its passage with joy. Every year, every month, every week, they find reasons to be happy. They do not wait for good things to happen to them. They create good things. They manufacture joy and distribute it throughout their lives. The conference chamber was silent. The assembled analysts were processing information that challenged everything they thought they knew about sentient behavior. Finally, Director L spoke. "You have done excellent work," he said to Aura, "but I believe there is one more thing the Council needs to understand. The question we have not yet answered. Why? Why do humans do this? What drove them to develop this system of joy integration?" Aura took a deep breath. This was the part she had been working toward. "I believe they do it because they have to," she said. "Human existence is difficult. Their planet is dangerous. Their lives are short. They face constant threats from disease, disaster, conflict, and death. Without joy, they would despair. They would give up. They would stop trying to survive. So they invented a system to ensure they never go too long without pleasure. They built joy into the architecture of their society so that even in the darkest times, there is always something small to look forward to." She looked around the chamber at all the alien faces watching her. "They are not foolish or inefficient," she said. "They are survivors, and this is how they survive." Part 3. The Galactic Council convened in the Great Chamber at the center of the coalition. Representatives from 900 species filled the vast space, their forms ranging from microscopic beings projected on holographic screens to massive creatures who had traveled in specially constructed vessels. They had come from every corner of the known galaxy to hear the findings of the Celebration Analysis Division. Aura stood at the center of the chamber, feeling very small. She had never spoken to so many beings before, but Director L had insisted that she present the final report herself. She was the one who had first noticed the pattern, and she deserved to share what she had learned. "Representatives of the Council," she began, "I come before you today to report on the species known as humans, native to the planet they call Earth. For 3 standard cycles, our survey team has observed their behavior. We expected to find a species shaped by the challenges of their environment. We expected aggression, adaptability, and tool use. We found all of these things. But we also found something we did not expect, something that changes how we must think about this species." She activated the central display. Images of humans filled the chamber. Humans waking up in the morning. Humans eating together. Humans laughing and talking. Humans celebrating events large and small. "We found that humans have developed a unique approach to existence," Aura said. "They do not wait for joy to find them. They build it into their daily lives. They create it. They plan for it. They consider it as essential as food or water or shelter." She walked the council through the research. The morning rituals, the meal ceremonies, the work breaks, the evening relaxation, the weekends, the holidays, the birthdays and anniversaries and celebrations of every kind. Some of the council members seemed confused. Others seemed skeptical. One, a massive being from a species known for their pure logical thinking, raised a limb to speak. "This seems inefficient," they said. "Why would a species waste resources on pleasure when they could devote those resources to survival?" Aura had expected this question. She pulled up a new set of data. "Let me show you human history," she said. "Their planet has experienced countless disasters, asteroid impacts, ice ages, volcanic eruptions, plagues that killed significant portions of their population, wars that devastated entire regions, economic collapses that left millions without resources." The display showed image after image of human suffering, destroyed cities, starving populations, mass deaths. The council watched in silence. "Any of these events would have caused permanent psychological damage to most species," Aura said. "Many species have been broken by far less, but humans have survived every disaster. They have rebuilt after every collapse. They have continued to grow and develop despite constant setbacks." She paused, letting the weight of the data sink in. "We asked ourselves how this was possible. Their bodies are fragile, their lives are short. Their technology, until recently, was primitive. They should have given up long ago. They should have fallen into despair and stopped trying." She changed the display. Now it showed humans in the aftermath of disaster, but they were not despairing. They were gathered around tables, sharing food. They were telling stories and laughing. They were marking the survival of another day with small celebrations. "This is what they call a potluck," Aura said. "When humans lose their dwellings to disaster, they gather together and share food. Each person brings what they can. They eat together. They talk. They find comfort in the presence of others." She showed another image, a gathering of humans dressed in dark clothing. They were crying, but they were also smiling. "This is what they call a celebration of life," she said. "When a human dies, the survivors gather. They tell stories about the dead person. Many of these stories are funny. They laugh through their tears. They find joy even in grief." The massive logical being spoke again. "You are saying that pleasure is their mechanism for psychological survival?" "Yes," Aura said. "That is exactly what I am saying. They have learned that joy is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Without regular doses of pleasure, the human mind begins to fail. They become sad, tired, and unable to function. They call this depression. It is one of the greatest threats to human survival, and their system of joy integration is how they fight it. She showed data on human mental health, humans who had strong social connections, humans who took time for pleasure, humans who celebrated regularly. These humans lived longer, they were healthier, they were more productive, they were more likely to survive disasters. The humans who thrive, Aura said, are not the ones who work the hardest or fight the strongest. They are the ones who remember to be happy. They are the ones who take time for their morning cup of tea. They are the ones who gather with friends and family. They are the ones who find reasons to celebrate even when times are hard. The council chamber was very quiet. Aura could feel the weight of all those eyes upon her. We interviewed many humans during our research, she continued. We asked them about their rituals. We asked them why they spent so much time on pleasure. Their answers surprised us. She pulled up recordings of human voices. Life is hard, one human said. If you don't find reasons to be happy, you will go crazy. I could not face the day without my morning coffee, said another. It is the only time that belongs just to me. Family dinner is sacred, said a third. No matter what else happens, we sit down together, we talk, we remember that we love each other. But it was the last recording that made the council truly stop and think. The voice belonged to an elderly human, her face lined with age and experience. You ask why I celebrate, she said. You ask why I make time for pleasure when there is so much work to do. But let me ask you this. What is the point of surviving if you do not also live? What is the point of another day if that day contains no joy? Survival without happiness is just waiting to die. I choose to live, and living means finding reasons to smile. Aura ended the recording and let the silence stretch. We came to study humans, she said finally. We came to understand them and assess their potential threat or value to the galactic community. We expected to find warriors or scientists or builders. We found something else. We found teachers. She took a deep breath. I recommend that we do not classify humans as a threat. I recommend that we do not treat them as a curiosity or a resource. I recommend that we learn from them. They have discovered something that most of our species have missed. They have learned that joy is not a reward for survival. It is the mechanism of survival itself. Director L stepped forward to stand beside her. I support this recommendation, he said. In all my years of study, I have never encountered a species like this. They are impractical. They are inefficient. They spend their resources on things that have no survival value, and yet they thrive. They survive disasters that would destroy other species. They maintain hope in circumstances that would crush anyone else. They have solved a problem we did not know existed. He looked around at the assembled council. We have spent trying to understand the purpose of existence. We have developed philosophies and religions and scientific theories. We have asked why we are here and what we should do with our lives. The humans have a simple answer. They are here to be happy, and they have built their entire civilization around that purpose. The vote took longer than usual. Many species needed time to process what they had heard, but when the results came in, the decision was clear. First contact would proceed, but not as a study or an assessment. The galactic community would approach humanity as students approaching teachers. They would ask the humans to share their wisdom. They would learn how to integrate joy into their own lives. And far away, on the planet called Earth, a woman woke up in Minnesota. She heated water and made her tea. She sat by her window and watched the morning light change. She held her cup in both hands and smiled at nothing in particular. She did not know that alien beings had been watching her. She did not know that her simple morning ritual had changed the course of galactic history. She only knew that the tea was warm, the morning was quiet, and for these 23 minutes, everything was perfect. And somehow that was enough.